Yemi ahwefo nyina adwo bibia kwa ba eba United Television so ye no nsia kasebo a osemu so no so de amayen na donhwere ba kwa dan mu ye di fi ship house abeka junction eba ababeso mu aseda kwama this way chocolate drink and coffee drink ne bi so akoma specialized in suit no special drink best point savings and loans and best assurance afi wi a need fufu and it abekwan e do ma se so mabo ande kasebo ye bre na de edi mu akotine bi ene se basabasa ye bi asi ewo enkwanta ewuti mantemu amade pa bi afem ahwere mo konoman no atu hana mo
na ekobeye mienso mo ye kire posifo so mo mpene so akokoto yetu asem no ade ahye wo kina
omen sana hene akwamabosika no a ogese budget ho semode koe no mmrahye biafo ahyase e kire omadwene
na so afa be de etwehwe sikasem so se aban no kure wahwe sikasem ye papa de amagana
owura harna idrusu nyanyafo na idrusu ade tudwa e kire mu se wo hwe a NDC amanyoku no abomodin papa echen NPP
abanku ntebu adwumako no akasa de atudwa se enema ye de ko amonone no afi we se no de di ka bosome miensem no ekoyi pade mai
ense bi ka ho na ye de bram saka sebo e ka mo se social media ha de saudo nyina e ka sebo yi etwagu e wo hakenkanfo a ye som na nwumre yeme eja kwabena mene
akuya ejewa akwade
ye kwa ma no so tin na fe ne kwabena to akotwetwe nkomo ye nyina yate dada se enkwanta amanebo a yasaka kyesaba se bisi emetututu bi koso ni pensia famu ehwere mo nkwa ama ebinum so apripra na no na omanya so ye amanwe so no ede nsam ahodo bi atodwa ede afa ho kyese omu de curfew ato amanfo ewo enkwanta so na kwabena to ohu de oboboye mu kwabena majo
eja kwabena the awards winner mejo so papa
obeni ache kwabena yi boye mu sie nyanentie se de asie nie ebia no obi ani kan ante de asie ankasa tofa bomu no ede poti na sie enti a omu de curfew ato omu so yi
yo eja kwabena amaya boni nyina ene se bosumi a etwamu no na ekoba se ebusuakuo bi omo akire mu omo pese omu di bayire afahye na bayire afahye na omo epese omo edi no na ebusuakuo ba ko akire mu anyame nim no kure ni bebi omo pese omu di bayire afahye no omo asase nti omo ma ho kwan se sa ebusuakuo no omo pese omu di bayire afahye no omo nkodi no ho a enye yie nti omo ayi mo ama ho kwan se empo sa ebusuan ebeba kodi bayire ewo saa bia no Nens ni nyina no abusuanse kia ne ke omo bedi bayire afahye no esan so mo ahye dato nsa afre mpanyifo ne atituru bi omo ebeba enti ze koba se bayire afahye no amaso a ne tese sebi omo ama enema ankoyie eninti omo epreye kwaye twima mentwe a ne nsunsunso no na eye bosumi a etwem ne die nipa ba ko efemu ehwe ne nkwa ema amanfo ejapadie bebre so eseseye ema empo eye amanfo so etwane ye na wedi ya nto anka ankosoro anso enura bie ya na eye egada na womreko amanfo didwa amanfo kroma ye menyamenya amanfo guso mudi ojan bi omoti ya se dima ya etuo etoto ama amanfo dwane ane sunsenso no eye enura die nipa bienu na etuo kasa omo ema omo eto nananum ewansie do na etuo ni koso toye na gide suemu nyina ema empo bambo adwumefo aye dom betimi bia mekire FPU fo ema eye national security fo NIB fo eye asojafo omo nyina edidwumedie mu akotere nenso ni nyina no omo pata empata ema tututo no ekoso a enti anopeya ekese ne bambo adwumeku ekọ rounds no nipa mako ensia na ekese omo ato etuo abobo wo mo ekese omo so ato nananom ewo ensia do a sei o hye enura ene ebesi ena nipa enam saa mentimi wasi esori ye no omo afiri mu eye nipa mako enwoche na obehwe se dia manfo su edwane free enkwanta south ha etu enseka kire enkani mpo free ha ekohoho ya eye 50 Ghana cedis nanso enam saa wantwi ne de mentimi ho ase aba ama nipa be enwoche afemu ato nananum wonseri ntino se de ofiri enkwanta ekohoho ya eye 60 Ghana cedis first no mo fa 44 say the 55 na omo efa say amanfo mo so entumi enyane nko baabia omo akwakobo mo adwa e police station ne die omo edosu yie a ni nyina na police for na ebo ho ban enti eja kwabena na tese enam wen nyina so ntina eye amanoe so afo owura ambuzari ene ne mpanyimfo wo mreko a eye regional minister owura monyafo Dr. Joshua Makubu ene resec ni nyina ekabo mu a omo hu se de ekono eni enyan enti ebehia so mo de curfew anase eye obia nkoda ebre no ebehyehyɛ so enti se de ebono num pepe ewo enkwanta krobi ma no obia kwa akoda ebono nsia no pansa na ba wapie na areho atete se ebono numa na nipa desani akwa akoda nanso eye enyamoa mponche nwan emnantwie ne emua enwam anyamua omo de omu nam tenante se omu de omu edi omu de omu twakwa mu ye bibia enti nya mianim no krense se de enkwanta enhye danwe nanso mreko a abambo adwumafo omo ababe piem nkwade a omo de niema agu akoma se kafu na ahya asie die yeguso a ye die eche de be piem bia no yemfa nkame yahwefo a omo ehwe the mother of all TV stations UTV no bia hu enti eja kwabena na amanebo a ewo eye enkwanta sat na mede ho amanebo ama atiefo ne ahwefo nyina enti de ekoso sese de kafu no ahya asie omreko a adagye eni eposokra
kwabra asam na si awia na si anajo
me pacho eye enu awia kete na sansemi na esiye ocheche ni ba ko de papa ma sending for nyina ama eye obimpe ono de omo de sekan pa de ke so ni hwa ne kon twa eye na basa etwa ne mfimu ema eye large intestines ni nyina epieye saso na papa ba ko eche se ni ama serve na wo ba be didi na dua ni sinche ne duo dima yawo ama na to da nan ewo nsia dum abrantie ba ko mo kire mo ye okada rider emre bi abesen ko no ye adwuma wo ECG na nam se ye nipa o je so mo ye adwuma wo ECG na yi bi adini ntino se wo ye okada nkakra onso so mo kire nani sa no mo kire ne nsagu na chi na ni omo di etuo ni si ni mfim se ene dima yawo abrantie ba ko so mo fe no jo ono so eye lotto forecaster ono so ewaki lotto onso so etuo dima yawo ye nipa mo aku mo a chese areho atete ense se muni nyina mo esesa nipa ensia na ne medi akire ma mo kosi sa ye ni nyina no omo edi emuni nyina ekọ eye enkwanta sa municipal hospital mortuary a chese omo ekọ akohwe ne mo mbambo adwumafo ne die omo afrasi omo yi adwuma den kra omreko adagie eniposo na omreko amiame bombodin ene crime officer eye owred monyanfo eye Lawrence wiafi edi nkomo ASP Lawrence wiafo edi nkomo no ne chese atete nipa ne to ne to ka mu sa ne nipa ekọ sa omo no omo ne di omo egu eye police cam ne mo wo kire mu a omo guso omo ye munhwem na se nipa mienu no mususu se omo di mu akoto mo hye mebunu kutupa omo ye di omo eye no aninti womreko mo ye hwem no mesuso UTV nsentweni yo NTOW megusu a di ekiri ne be pie bia no be de ho amanebo ebema ye tiefo ni ahwefo nyina aninti kwabena ntoni beyond FM enkwanta
yenu yakwabranto na yetene nka no mfoni na ni nya kakra na nka se atwe nkomo ne kwa ekiri sanse bibiade na duru no ni susu se ye kete pa no mkoye sadia ifo na hye akire yenim se bambofo bitu ho bibi ye twene ahwede besi bia na ba mate de nyina
Outa komiensa abakun eye Democracy Hub, Patriotic Hub, and Offensive Patriotic Forum for Accountability Governance. And I say a group no and then neomude and krata koma posifo some person mo eye yechre. Na mienu a edike Democracy Hub ni Patriotic Hub one chemu say. Na me eye adumanka December no bo someda edika kopimne de to so aduasa ba kono. Omo eye yechre ewo Jubilee House atenekesiye mu ede akere abano se wontu efise amamono enkoye na afenso no Ghana for asetemu ntumpon eno eche na manyo ekua ne dinye Patriotic Forum for Accountability nso chemu se enka December de edi kan ekopim General Boshmu mfempim bienu ne aduonu na mu no omonso eye ye kira na so omokotena wono mo ede ato abana nim se omampanyi akufu ado aye ade papa wabo adwuma eno nti wonkoso enye sanfa sum Ghana for eno ana posifo chemu se debi baby amoko akwakotena aye yekire no ade bi on mo bambo bia security zone ena no eche krompons le free December bosume no a ekopim January boso bia ntimi nyenye cheje se January da etoso enum ewo mfiempim bienu ene aduonu na mu na mbetimi aye yekire no ekuo miensa isi afedi omo ntibi do omo ntiase enti posifoɔ ekɔ court yɛsɛ omo kɔ akɔgye tumi de esi omo kwan na enne ebro omo kɔ asetena no Accra High Court penyifoɔ ayɛ ne sɛ asɛm no mu etu de ahye wɔkyena ɛyɛ November da ɛtɔ so aduonu mienu na enne maame a wɔtena adwam ɛyɛ Lydia Osemafo na bra wɔtena adwam no mu di asɛm no ano ɛna lawyer ni a wɔgyina mu ɛde ama posifoɔ no ɛkasa de atudwa kyerɛkyerɛ mu sɛ enkrata yɛn samankrata ɛne affidavits awodo mu nyina no yɛn sa anka ne bra si etimi ka na bra sa ka yɛn na kyerɛ sɛ yɛn ne eti ekase etena so adi asɛm no ana yɛ hyehyɛsoɔ enti yɛn hwe ne nye bibi mfa ho na obisa asa nyembia court kronponsa kankrata no wana ɛna otemuafo panyini ɛyɛ no sɛ wanya ne nteyɛ sɛ court nsa ka na mmom no eni nkrata mu sɛ court nsa ka etini nyinam ne mpanifo tena ase din hwɛ ne sɛ ne asɛm no ɔmo etu de ahye wɔkyena na ɔmo ahyɛ ase adi wɔn na ɔmo nsa hyɛ nkrata se ɛwɔ saa ahotekoɔ miɛnsa mu no na obia ne lawyer ni eni court dɛm mu a mpanifo kyɛm sɛ brɛ ne nkrabea bɛsi a na kyɛ sɛ ɛyɛ wɔkyena huku
Oman sana hene ade oman yakwa amabo sika ho nsam ɛyɛ budget no kɔto dwa ɛwɔ parliament ɛfi na bra so sɛm na hyebudwafo no ahyase edi ho ebobo na ɛno ɛna owura kodwo opon kromo no yɛ oman so afo ahwen krato nsam so de ato dwa akyerem sɛ no kurenie budget yi a omde bae no ɛyɛ budget ya emuda ho fan budget ya adwempa hye ne ma budget ya wahoden a ɛbɛboa asese oman hyebre isan covid ene Russia and Ukraine tokoi tibia yikomu no sa budget ebese hyebre kura.
Mr. Speaker, the economic policy outlines the 5 areas that this growth program is focusing on: agriculture, aquaculture, tourism, creative arts and sports, digitization on one level, and then trade and industry on the other level. The question is, do these areas represent areas where if we invest discretionary expenditure, we will be able to get growth higher than 2.8? Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I don't think any economist worth his salt would disagree with that. And so you will find that the economic program before us responds to the question of growth. Why is growth important? Growth is important because as growth goes higher, jobs are created. As jobs are created, people get incomes. As they get incomes, they improve their quality of life. And so for us as an administration, it is key to ensure that we don't just take the 2.8% estimated growth, but we put in place a clear growth program aimed at taking us beyond this 2.8. And Mr. Speaker, later, when we look at the budget or the fiscals, we will find that allocations have been made to back this economic policy. So on Appendix 4A, item number 15, food and agriculture, you will find that, Mr. Speaker, a whopping 3 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated to support the agricultural sector, specifically about 700 million Ghana cedis to support the Planting for Food and Jobs program, and about 525 million Ghana cedis to deal with agri-infrastructure extension across this country. Mr. Speaker, tourism, arts, and culture receives a whopping 175 million Ghana cedis in the 2024 budget to stimulate activities in that sector.
Mr. Speaker, you are asking us to celebrate. Go and ask the Eurobond holders all the sweet and juicy things you told them about how you create heaven in Ghana, and they gave you the money. Today you are telling them you can't pay. As a matter of fact, in one of those circumstances, in 2019 when they came to eat the kinky and fish, they had told the investor that Ghana will be producing 500,000 barrels of crude oil by 2020. We are in 2023. Have you even achieved 150,000 barrels? So, up for you and promises, if we follow you, where are the NAPO beneficiaries? 70,000 of them have now joined what they call the Unemployed Youth Alliance. So this 1 billion is a roof. 1 trillion, anyway, 1 trillion is a roof. But Mr. Speaker, will you prefer Dr. John Mohammed's economy, where you are drinking your calico for 50 pesos, to your 1 trillion where you will now be buying that calico for 6 cities? Which one will you prefer? Which one will you prefer? A 219 billion economy in which you will buy an olonka of kokunte for the poor at 112 cedis, or 1 trillion where you buy olonka of kokunte for 500 dollars. So you must understand that economy is about livelihoods. It's about real growth. And the earlier you understand that, the better. Mr. Speaker, my colleague talked about revenue. And here again, you are putting the numbers. You said that you are going to achieve a revenue target at the end of the year of 133 billion. And that is 15.7% of your GDP. But you will grow that revenue by about 1.1% to give you 16.8% of GDP. That 1.1 is about 11 billion. Mr. Speaker, when you add 11 billion to 133 billion, you get 144 billion. So where did you pluck that 176 billion from? That 176 that you have used to calculate your expenditure, where did you get it from? So clearly, you have inflated your revenue by over 40 billion so that you can now project an expenditure of 226 billion, so you can have 40 billion cushion for reckless expenditure in an election year. That is all that you have done.
And now, Bobo Mashmejafo no di ade afamfim pimienu ene aduane nan budget ne wonam so ma waswafo abejechi a ohwe sikasam so ye etiwa east mashebedwani onmanyafo abana osai asare ekasa de tudwache mu se sa wo hwe ebra na Russia ne Ukraine tokwa no wo no ne niam ahodo bia na esisi no a na ha adwene pa entie nam so ama enema yesi wanta na so abana bomodere atutu niam yi ama sese sikasam no atene ejina ye ne kona nimegyan na so abo apapo no.
Former President Mahama goes outside of this country, makes speeches and acknowledges the impact of COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war. Here are his people here refusing to acknowledge that. Refusing to acknowledge that. So you don't go out stating numbers without making reference to the current global situation. When you do that, it means you are out of touch with reality, and that shouldn't be the case. Mr. Speaker, globally, for a country like Ghana, it is projected that we will grow at 2.9%, but we have gone over and above, and currently 3.2% is the growth rate. Mr. Speaker, before we embarked on the debt exchange, Treasury bill rates were very high, above 35%. Currently, as we speak, Treasury bill rates are between 25% and 27.6%. This is why we say we have turned the corner and we will continue to do that. Mr. Speaker, last year we saw how erratic the exchange rate regime was. But today, as we speak, from February to date, the cedi against its major trading currencies have depreciated by just 6.4%. Clearly tells you that the PC peg and the measures that we have put in place is really working, Mr. Speaker. As my brother on the other side was saying, they are not empty promises. These are results that you see. These are results that you can feel. And so they are not empty promises, but rather deliberate actions, Mr. Speaker, deliberate actions and a steadfast dedication to make sure we get the economy back on track and also stabilize it and cause some growth, which we know in the end will result in wealth creation and employment for our teeming youth, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I have in my hand here annual GDP. Unfortunately, now they've done almost 8 years. So you can compare NDC 8 years and MPP 8 years. And Mr. Speaker, I can table this document before the table office. I can even give a copy to the majority side. I make 3 copies. From 2009 to 2024, annual GDP. If you strike the mean, which is the average is 5.4. I've then broken it down. If the majority leader wants one, this is another copy. From 2009 to 2016, 8 years of NDC, the average growth rate, in terms of real growth, not nominal growth, was 6.475%. So it means that over the 8-year period, on average, we're growing the Ghanaian economy by 6.475%. Now I take MPP 2017 to 2004, and in the 2004, I use 2024, I use your own projection of 2.8. From our 6 point something, by the end of 2024, you'll be growing the economy on average by 4.3%. 4.3, and yet, Mr. Speaker, we handed over 3 oil fields to this government. We handed over ESLA levies to them. They've gotten over 20 billion from ESLA levies. But Mr. Speaker, like I said, this game and this debate is based on what? Facts.
Adeshimama UTV no sia kase bwana muhwe moma yenkwaja bo afro krato edika madaro mayeba adishimamba yɛda mo ase sɛ motwe me kɔto nkrafia bɛyi yɛtoa so na yɛtoa so a yɛkɔ onunyamfo Haruna Idrisu ɛhɔ ɛnkane donkumo mra hyebedwan ba no dani Tamale North nso na mra hyebedwani ɔwɔ hɔ na woda to dwa ɛkyire mu sɛ ɛho behia sɛ ndi sama yɛkɔ na chitafo nyinaa abɛyerɔ mo ho aton kan mampani John Dramani Mahama esanse ono wabe mampani da waye bia mamansa nyina tumi ho nti no ɛho behia so mutumi bia bibia ɛtisa na boa ma ne ho ayakɔ no ama Ghana fo so atumi ato aba ama no de sɛ mutu dwa wobra ɔne ndi sama yɛkɔ no ɛnkrabɛtɔ o metifido mantam mabunu no ehyiaye.
If John Mahama wins all 168 of Tamale Central, just as he wins all the 33,000 in Ghana, he is the when president of Ghana. So you can depart from if to when. But the if to when means that you must all pledge that he will win at the various polling stations in your constituencies at the national level and throughout the 275 constituencies. So for you as youth organizers, your primary mandate is to promote John Mahama and the NDC as a credible alternative to the new patriotic party, promising better governance, better economic management, and more people care in developing a better Ghana. I'm here because the NDC must win 2024. John Mahama must win 2024. And John Mahama will win 2024. I didn't use if we all give him our assurances and support. 2024, inshallah, we are stopping what? Nana Akufo-Addo say by all means. Is it not? We also will say that by all means we are stopping the heat. MPP didn't have single promise to promise Ghanaians. The leaders are ready to work. Well, we are ready. Anywhere you call any leader, he will come. So it's your time. 2024. You people must to stop it.
Oba Northern Region, there 18 constituencies. And I be doing shemu. Etwato adwene efa kwanya nyame adoma 2024. Nkonimdie betima ya dia. Ofa Northern Region NDC as a political party were 9 constituencies. MPP so were 9. Which ye hun say anomaly. A sinto. Nti se sinto na betima correct ya there was ye ne say ye hun shemu. Na ye fa adwen etoto adwen kwanya ye befa so a ye betima win constituencies nkono anante nwotwe na aka no nto ehun adwuma nene mabu no mo Northern Region all the 18 constituencies no ebe hiemu na megidi se program no wa hu ye bebre na addition de ba na bia omani ebi nso ani age strategies methods nyina yafa ene ntefre na ekono mo be hu bebi stronko e wo Northern Region.
Mid-year trade reports are enoye afeni finfin edwedia no di semono na banku ntebu adwuweko no ede atudwa na no eno benfu boni ade kasa ede atudwa kyerem se ye hwe bosumi miensa ni bosumi miensa biemu etoso ye bosumi nsia na di kan ewo mfie mpimienu ani aduonu miensa afiwese mu a Ghana niemu ye de ko amonone no emu epeja papa ekokodu be 2 million Ghana US dollars. Ochiremu se so de toto afra sedie no wana chese afiwe sedie no eye ne ko animuye.
Abanku ntabufo panyini Professor Samuel Kobina animu panyini sansemana tutwa ewo Ghana 2023 Media Trade Reporter na wokenkan. Opanyini ka semre na wochim sa afia hyase no o magana nyamfaso dwadi afom be $200 million. Na niema ye kra di fira monone so no na ye gina 85 million Ghana cedis. Ifira afia hyase eba besi June busumi mu. O de toto afia twamu 2022 dia na gina 65.4 billion Ghana cedis a. Na se niema ye kra afi mu no na e wo soro.
The trade surplus that we did record in the first half of 2023 was hugely marked by the exchange rate differentials. As from the dollar point of view, we recorded a trade surplus of only 0.2 billion US dollars for the first half of 2023. On the basis of that, I leave the public and policymakers with these key messages. We did record a trade surplus in the first half of 2023. We are quick to indicate that the trade surplus that we recorded in the first part of 2023 was heavily marked by exchange rate differentials. Ghana's import vulnerability is highest with China. We have reversed the trade deficit that we recorded in the first half of 2023 with a trade surplus in the first half of 2023.
Enkrato so afo no menyamfo kodwo ponkroma so kasa yi tiri mu se enguntabu ebeboa madwedi nkitahudi ababeto bi man nyina ntamu no atumi akoyie.
The government of Ghana, as has been demonstrated in recent years, commits to be led by data in its decision making, in its policy formulation, and its program development. This administration in particular urges successive administrations, as well as all public institutions, public and private institutions, to invest in statistics and data gathering and to allow the outcomes to determine your policies, your programs, and your assessments. We must strive harder to become a data-led society. That's how we become a thought-led society.
Data about trade, no matter tutor, craft yamanani deba, every wa, a bit to me, a produce locally. Yes, that's why a small exchange rate, dollar na near the class, the annual manner, the turbulence, the exchange rate depreciation, the problems, the Mayana, the Timmy Sovos are in a produce locally. The boy, and inflation prices are cost inflation issues thing and resolve.
The report in Wabu Yama and Nema are a do a dear cutini ewo and Nema a crafty manoni, Ushomwa a diane, Ushomwa bakon a heat. Near this a moon room, any meat, poultry product, a yakukonam ne a yamwade, any sa and Yamanema in our first 10. Enti question is sa enema we are ye crafty manoni abano. Do we your capacity say ye betimi a produce ha? Are ye self-sufficient? Say anye self-sufficient cra ye betimi a peja your production no at least up to be 50% to meet demand ana enti we enema report na dey aba also emrahefo ne ade ehwemu na omutimi e de emra egu akwan mu betimi aboya ma yafa yentoma pafra.
Ewiem sakra say ene se de be betumi ahwe ne asiesie no nti ekuo bi a from West African Science Service Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use F4 de shimbi ahye so e won kra de to so enum no se na be betumi aboa mo afa adwene na ewiem sakra ene se de se ewiem niam no o betumi ahwe abrenase.
Ewesi nyina ye ne senchi bibiri no odi hyemu ba behye so o mai Dubai mu obeto ato adwenkwampa obefa so wiemu bobre ho sem kaye ebefa ne ntoma pa edi efira we ma so ya hodo a hwiemu bobre so ene wo no hwe adusuanto aso nkan koso ewa bibiri matoye edi ehia won kan woto ato adwen na se bre no so kwa kopie mu Dubai a wiemu bobre sem kaye na se no ohukun obefa so no obeka won sem edi afa urumanyamfo kokwa firiye wo so afo a Oda environment, science, technology and innovation as well no. Opening kasai.
Oil, gas, near the almost say it contribute to global warming. No, I use no sign under the Paris Agreement. No, in fact, West Africa, any a big blame in general. No, ye will be Yankopon so the adum ye any area ye want more than Europe near elsewhere, relatively speaking, and also crying the ultimate source of energy ye can. Enti ye leverage ye kasa leverage you use ye bet me develop on 10 tempo perhaps more than oil and gas na yan contribute to the problems. Two key things naka technology a kwan ya ye dey abefo ade be harness energy which exists but a whole patent rights in your man ne born in our munsem. Two, any sikasem warming issues na climate change na ye kan na ye pe abefo kwan so e betumi broni se ye dey adapting this would betumi for example ye tumi ya solar panels ɛwɔ mo ye valley bottom rise ɛwɔ sehwini wasa January February kra no betumi apompi nsuo from groundwater a ne bo nya den ne de aye rice farming enu ma predictability enu ma utumi nya control ni ade nti I don't want to go into the details but was car ya ehia mu hey sa technology ni finance ni ade a link policy aye kind of brochire ni national level no any practical action on the ground no these are the intermediary and answer the term Nioma ye say ye di hun komo na ye masa adwen a ye sipo say ye be mitigate climate ye be adapt even cry loss and damage ye betumi anya sika omo ho a che on bibi asi no
different thematics and centers of excellence where we are building this capacity, across the region. And another area which WASCAL is also looking at is also meeting the net zero policy of the Paris Agreement and other conference of parties that we have also been, that the whole globe have always been working towards. How we can reduce our fossil fuel emissions.
Corporate People's Choice Awards say abasubodi adwumadi mpanifo ede ebo enwuma kese nketwa ne adansemo no abaso hye enwumaru anum nkura ne so motokoso nyefiso modemo ne koyi pa afi wesie de no akoso ama mpanifo abonkrofo abaso akasa de atodwa so omonyiro mo anya adwuma ne bebo amagara sikasem agina ne nan so yi.
Corporate People's Choice Awards say abasubo dwumadi ampanifo de ahyehye so nwumaru anom wono de nwuma ahodo ano ye de bo na baso wo modem ba wo bo nwuma eku ahodo mu na o man Ghana so no enya won so emfaso botete akire ni se be sha foforo nsu nkuran na won so ayere wo ho nwuma odeda no wo ye adwuma so de aboa ama afa ne ntoma pa de efira Ghana fo benya so mfaso obi Ghana nyina so no ebenya so emfaso ebi afidia no abaso nyina nkamfo ano penyene kwankyerefo da Central Migration Grace ano Alhaji Alifa Adams empenifo ba na baso so ye best travel and tour company of the year woni empenifo dodo na no na baso bodwumadie wonsa eka bie owura John Abdullahi Jinapo ebejeku ahwefo ma agudie tuo na honede ho nsem so merese bedwafie openyene waka ho bi wokasa de atudwa se nyuma hodo ne titiru ne ankrankra de no wo modem ba wo bo man ne puntuom no enya de betima bu yani agusu da enti abaso bodwumadi ye sefate ho behia mpo se mpinifo hyehye mra na dwumadi bi atiti sei no wo de bo akiri dom.
By honoring exceptional business excellence, this event encourages competition for the economy as a whole and motivates all corporate entities to work for noteworthy business branding by means of consistency and quality within the corporate domain.
Marvin Communications ora said danso ekasa etire mu se nyese wo hwe wani mu hu finti na basobo watam de ahye wonsa wodi nhihye egu apono so wona wonim de ofa wo mo emo ye nhwehwemu ehunu wona wo sefata ansa na basobo yi wodi ehye wonsa.
Tonight we have the privilege of gathering alongside the distinguished awardees who have been meticulously rated by industry professionals through an extensive market survey. This survey, conducted among professionals, serves as a comprehensive representation of middle and high income earners. To all awardees, the Corporate People's Choice Awards takes immense pride in acknowledging and celebrating your excellence and also your contribution in delivering high standard products and services.
Penye kwankyerefo da Central Migration Grace ano Alhaji Ali Adams abasubo ni nsa kan bi a wode na dwuma ifo bi e de nsem se yatudwa.
Award we a common traveling tour company bi a wo Ghana ha. Said the be a bit must step up. Best asre aban say a tourism site no. The be a kodia go to say Kakum National Park and other places na are very attracted my say it me ko share and I say it me ko ji ani. Best aban say o me hwe no maye wo yi amaye. Said the be ya be na nipa bebree fi amanone na o musu maba ababe de ababa sre ya be bia ye wo no say Kakum National Park Larabanga Moms and those places no is very attractive and say historical places and maya e betima ko sunya de aprofo no suba na say nkofo free abrochiri ba o betima sunya de je be sre aban say o mo hwe ho maye said the be ya yeso eduma ne be de e be bum eduma ne boost to a eno so na ye de e bo ama economy ne so ye de e boost to
nyame adom CMG IS Central Migration Grace we need Travel and Tour Agency of the Year. Na ade aye kan say ye besre unim say Ghana eye bibia amanfo enije ho say ya wo mbeba ha dia ye kan ni say eya kwantu hu nsem obi apese otukwan ko America okọ Canada okọ UK because ehoye ne fe ejuma nso wo ho na se wohwe ahatory site na se yebema amanfo efiri amanone na ma ba Ghana ha na omenye enije a ejina ye tourism site
CMG ye company yeboa akrankwe yeboa adwumafo ombeso mutukwan omko holidays yeboa ma sa daeso nyina bam
afi we mu visas ayenya wo ye office bebre eno na man comforting and cancer CMG so company bi aye wo ho ena ma ya gidin afi
yeba san ko tun krabi mu na Roma yeba to ekase bo no so montwen
Yamayehu akwaba afeye to akase bono eso. Enkrotu beye aduanan enso eye 47 ewo ahafo ano mensinim ewo asante mantimo mokwan atete aseye no sese no aban no eye ama omunti adehye nani age omodbose ene UTV akasase.
Adisia wote empotem ho a wo mudodo na eye akuafo ene adwadifo ekire se enam wakwan bone a wonam so nti no enyansunsuanso bone won dada abrabone won dwuma wodie nyina so a emfie pinin ene kwan na dawa obia enye ho hwe asenkafo nso kire se ekwan ne nyanyanyen nti ekobasa nsu tokra de agyan na dane ateche sunso aye trunti ebasa obi nko ene obi aba ekwan a ye ka ho asemi aha adwene papa ma edu baabi akuafo kra do awie no onuane na nka oso de foso de bakrum beton no na ka nkronkro na hodo no so ama esei ena so obi yare ana wo so opemfo bi kra ye de ne ba yare sabia na no so akwakoye ade a eden pam said ye be ya ade hye won potem ho beto wo munti ena opani ba kwa wo prese so omoti ase obeprem rehye bedwafie dwa wo NPP amanyoko ni din mu ewo afo no North constituency ho orakwa kufo so frempon asase asesi edie wo siesie kwan na bese 400 kilometers de wo ye ede ama wo mu enkrotu ahodo a obenya so mfaso ni bi eye mamfo subri so sika fremoja akwasi asitwabidi ankase Jacobu domam timbabi ene afia foforo bebre ene kasa nkrontuo aduanan so no ho a wo hwese obetimi atwa won kwan no so ma na siye kase wahye dwumadie na se ewo mamfo na yenne adehye a omoye asenkafo ne omamfo a omofa kwan ni so bi etwetwe nkomonom se we die akoyi papa de ahoto bebre wo mo eno nso nti omse papa yi wonya meye mrahye bedwani mpo ene wo ye adwuma tise ene enom de mpaipa eta na ekise na ni so ade hunu
ekwan for the past 8 good years and I bet done a rough road to say ya what trauma we mu saa be see empanifo sabe MPP abamba ya nyame adom nya appointing ye hu bi da se obi ada so die de sika se odwi kwan so ye mu sa aban no obre na COVID-19 no maban na ban ne bre enti se ko obi a support aban no na so ye hu bi da amanfo a ebe wo a ma wa kakwa mu kwan so the whole Ghana 2014 national best cocoa farmer ofri no masua kwan ye to no ofri bodia banche kokwa efri aha subiri sunu masua fante ba no ebi ni asante region ha na se wodru ha na se bodia bre egu popo ya se ebe ye wa reho
obegina wo NPP amanyoko ni din mu e dia prem sebedwafie dwa ewo hafa no North abato mpasua so enso kirekire mu senti a okodi dwuma etise
tepana me free hafa no North ena me free na mehwe me manfo bra ye bre ehwe akwan a ewo mensnimu ha sabi bonchi bonka ene nioma ewo wosu bebre grade yi ba bedwi ama na to so totin ama e the relief kese abre amanfo ye calculations me here about 47 communities but say ye koya obonso wi be frɛ no aka say branch man nti enim say nipa ebe nya ho faso de bebre communities ne de bebre wo hwɛ ye taxi drivers omo fa kwan wi su nyina obia benya relief free say na ekwan no so ye tropa na said ye di dwumadie we ni nioma bebresi ye ni so the way ye manfo no eyese omudwen se metimi aye adwuma no enne mi gina ha kase se ye bie MPP mpanyimfo bie kwan na me fa krata na me nso maba se ye nto me so aba as parliamentary candidate on the ticket of MPP.
Ewi adishima ma hani edi kasebo ni nyina esi da kwa special sensuo need fufu need abankwa na fidi sweet chocolate drink and a coffee drink.
Sewa closet ashamata de 0243508635 and our let's love here mitima 0244423201 bedin de akua ejewa akodi emene
eja kwa blenda mu nyina se ama mu ni hwe